Hey, this is Matt McLean, and in this first tutorial, I'm going to show you Audacity and how to get in and do basic editing that you'll need for assignment 1. So you'll see on my desktop, we have the microphone check wave. You need to have this on your computer. Sometimes Audacity has trouble reading them off of flash drives. So just drag it onto your desktop for starters, and we'll go into Audacity. I'm on a Mac, but it looks the same on a PC for the most part if you have the latest version. So we can bypass this first message, and you'll see the arrange window here. It should look the same on your computer, except for right here. This is my audio card so that I can get the screen capture for this tutorial. But for yours, you should just leave built-in input and output. Okay, now the beauty of Audacity is you can do things really easily, like drag your file and drop it into the arrange window. Just like that, magic. And Audacity is a fantastic wave editor. We'll get in and look at these waveforms here in just a second. It's also great because you can drag just about any type of file into the arrange window, and then you can go into export and export it as just about any type of audio file. So we'll get to that a little bit later. So for this first assignment, the first thing I want you to do is make a copy. And the key command here on a Mac is Command D. I think it's a little different on a PC. I think instead of Command, it's Control. But I've posted a list of key commands, or a link to a list of key commands for Audacity. There aren't many, but they're really useful. So what you do is you click on the file. I'm going to make a copy of it, and then I'm going to mute it here, and then minimize it with this arrow. Don't hit the X, that'll delete it. Now, the reason why we do this is all editing in Audacity is destructive. So once you make a move, it's pretty hard to go back and start over again. So I just kept the parent copy just in case we made a mistake. And then the next step is I'm going to double click this again. I'm going to normalize it. What normalizing does is it makes the audio louder. You'll see the waveform get bigger. I've set my normalized maximum amplitude to -1 decibel. I think the default in Audacity is 0.1, so you might want to change this. Just gives you a little bit of headroom, but it makes the audio a lot louder, and it'll be easier to see what you're doing. So there we go. There we get this nice little waveform. I'm just going to cut up the first couple words here. You'll hear a lot of coughing and sneezing, and I did that on purpose on the voiceover. It sucks. It's your job to clean it up and make it sound great. Zoom in on this first word. The key commands are command 1 and 3 on a Mac, and that will zoom in on the, you can do a lot of this, zoom in on the wave, and you can see really cool, almost looks like a sine wave. Let's listen to this little blip and see if it's is this a word or a cough? Oh, darn. Well, let's find a real word here. Microphone check. Okay, so there's a word. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a composite of all the good words. The microphone check. There you go. That's what I want. I'm going to highlight this now and then hit Z. What Z does is make sure that you cut across zero crossings so you don't get clips and pops at the beginnings and exits of words. I'm going to hit Command D again, and this is where we're going to start creating the composite. And now I'm just going to grab these other words here and let's listen to this. 1, 2. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to hit Z. And now instead of Command D, that'll create a whole new track. I'm going to do copy, Command C, and then I'm just going to place it down here, Command V. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the other word. Hit Z for zero crossings, copy it, and I'm going to paste it. And now I can mute this track here. So here's my composite down below. 1, 2, 1, 2. Microphone check. 1, 2, 1, 2. So this is what you're going to have to do, is clean up these exits and entrances of words. Just, you want to do a little swipe like this, and then go to Effect, and we're going to fade in. And then we're going to do the same thing at the end, a little swipe, and we're going to fade out. And let's listen to this. Microphone check. Yeah, cleaned it up pretty well. I'm going to zoom in on the introduction of this word. I might have too much information there, so I can highlight it and delete it. Now I'm just going to swipe again and fade in. And this makes a really clean word here. Microphone check. Yeah, that sounds great. And then, so you're going to do that exact same thing for these other words. Clean up the exits and entrances. It's sort of like gardening. And you get into the zen of it, and you can start working really quickly. You know, swipe, effect, swipe, effect, etc., etc. So when you're done with the nice clean entrances and exits, you can use this tool here, which is the time shift tool, and you can arrange your audio and make it sound like I actually read it quickly, like this. Microphone check. 1 2 1 2. And you're off to the races. Once you're done with the final composite and you have everything arranged, what you can do is go back to your selection tool and just swipe the region that you want to export. So while it's grayed out here, you can go to File and Export Selection. But actually, there's one last step. You might have noticed that there was some tape hiss in the background. Microphone check. 1. You can hear it sort of at the end of this word here. So there's one last step, and that is do some noise removal. So this is a little tricky. What you have to do is swipe a region from your original piece of audio. And I noticed that I swiped out in outer space here where the static is. Let's just listen to this. I go to Effect, Noise Removal, Get Noise Profile. And that actually took this piece of noise here and it analyzed it. Now it's going to do some magic. And now what I do is I go down to my other track and I swipe it. And now I go to Effect and Noise Removal, and I'm going to just hit OK, and this will apply it. Now we can listen to it. Microphone check. 1 2 1 2. And it got rid of some of that. If you use too much of the noise removal, if you get in there and start playing with the parameters, it'll start to sound like it's underwater. So be really careful. I'll just give you one quick heads up. This word right here, the end of it, there is a low frequency rumble, and you can actually see it if you zoom in on the waveform right here. This is something that you're going to have to creatively edit out. A lot of students miss this one. So just a heads up, keep an eye out for that one. There's some other doozies in there too. When you're done, let's just go back here. You swipe it. We're going to go to Export Selection, and we're going to name it our last name, like this. Oops. We don't need case sensitivity. Can't type. Okay. And I'm going to save this on the desktop. And actually, this is kind of important too. I want to create a new folder, and I want to call this one the same thing. Same move. Okay, and I'm going to hit create. So now I have a new folder on the desktop, and I can export my selection. Here is a place to put meta tags, which can be really cool for searching. But we don't need to do that for this one. And then you hit OK. And notice that it drops a WAV file in there. And oh, I forgot a really critical step. You also have to turn in the parent Audacity folder. So we need to go to Save in Audacity, and let's see, Save Project As. Same thing. We're going to save this in the same spot in my folder, McLean Assignment 1, and I'm going to call it the same thing. Save. There we go. And notice that there are now 3 files in here. And this is the parent Audacity file. This is the Audacity folder. This is the one that has all the audio edits. If this one is not in there, I won't be able to grade your work, and you won't be able to take your file and work on other computers. So you have to have both the Audacity file and the data folder, the underscore data. This is critical. So you're going to have 3 different files with the same name, different suffixes. And then you just zip it, and it's on a Mac, Control click, compress, and in no time at all, we have a zipped file. And then this is what you can drop into the D2L Dropbox. Let's see how big it is. Yeah, 16 megs. It's not too big. Your final one, it'll be a little bit bigger, but D2L should be able to handle it. Okay, so there you go, off to the races. One last little thing. I kind of breezed by this. When I went export selection, notice that there are multiple formats down here. So this is where you, if you did want to do an MP3, you could go in here and change the compression rate. You're not going to do that for this one. I want to see a PCM WAV file, which is uncompressed. In later assignments, you'll get to do all sorts of cool stuff. Okay, so happy editing, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.